everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. We got a new Scream video on all the CCXP stuff that happened this weekend. There's a whole bunch of Scream stuff I have yet to talk about, which I'm kind of saving for tomorrow. I have a whole video's worth of stuff just to talk about with that CCXP video, which we're gonna do today. But tomorrow I want to talk about Kyle Gallner's character and a little crazy theory I have about him. We're gonna get into all this in just a second here, but first I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon. If you like seeing these videos and you want to see more of them in the future, I could use your support on Patreon. That would be pretty sick. The link for all those things will be in the description below. Alrighty, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Name it.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Allow Pennywise to dance you now.
We're gonna get you. Oh, Lord on the beat!
God, don't do that.
And sometimes, death is better.
So first, I just want to say I know I announced that I was going to do a big video on the Black Phone, but I kind of have to prioritize here as there was a lot of Scream news to cover this past weekend. That video will be coming out eventually, but I had an overwhelming amount of comments saying, why aren't you talking about the news, all the Scream news? But a big video is coming for the Black Phone that comes out this February. I'm very excited about that film as well, and I am very excited to talk about it. So getting into this little CCXP video though, there was a lot of stuff to talk about here, but I'm going to be mostly talking about all the stuff that I can formulate theories about. So obviously there was this new clip, which I'm gonna do a whole video on tomorrow because there's so much to talk about there. I kind of want to talk about the questions that the ComicCon asked our cast and crew. Question number one was, what did you think when you were cast in a new Scream film? To which Melissa Barrera responds to, I hope I get an epic death scene. I wonder if that request will be fulfilled for you or not, Melissa. It kind of seems like Melissa Barrera's character Sam is going to be like the leading lady of this new film, so I really don't think she's gonna die. My money right now is like that she's gonna be the new final girl character who makes it through this film, but I could be completely wrong. Like, let's look at the last entry in this franchise, Scream 4. Almost all the new characters died in that film. It could be the same case here. Probably the most suspicious thing of this entire video is what I'm going to be talking about next, which was a question asked later on about if you would survive a Ghostface attack. To which Liv McKenzie responds with, oh, I would absolutely die, and then she winks at the camera. Oh my god, Liv, what is that supposed to mean?
Absolutely not. I would put up a good fight. I would, you know, give Ghostface a hard time, but...
I'm starting to think maybe she never gets attacked by Ghostface in this film. Because she is Ghostface. I 100% could see her being the Ghostface killer in this new film. We really don't get too many shots of her in anything that we've seen so far. And the one shot of her that's coming to mind is her going like this across her neck. That's something a Ghostface killer would do, especially if they were like looking at their victim half dead on the ground. Mikey Madsen, who's playing Amber in this new film, says that she would be an easy kill against Ghostface. Once again, I do think that maybe she's one of the opening attacks. I don't know if she dies or not, very similar to like Jenna Ortega's ordeal where she kind of like doesn't really die, but like we see her later at the hospital. Maybe it could be the same situation with Amber. Also, talking a little bit more about Liv McKenzie's character, there's even more indication that she could be Ghostface because in one of those new TV spots we see Mason Gooding's character tracking her phone looking for her, and when he finds her phone he looks up, Ghostface is standing right there. Kinda sus. Now once again, we do have some knowledge that Ghostface is going to be utilizing technology to his or her advantage, so he could be messing with Mason Gooding's character here and maybe he just stole her phone, maybe he's like messing with his tracking device, I don't know. But here's where it gets real juicy. The cast is then asked about fan theories and like what they think about him, and I think we get some really good responses here. Dylan Minnette is asked if Jenna Ortega fakes her death and is the Ghostface killer. Now like I've said in the past, we pretty much gotten it confirmed that she's like at the hospital, she survives this like opening attack. It might not even be an opening kill, it could be a kill from later on in the movie that she just happens to survive. But we do see her at the hospital. I slowed down that one scene in one of my past videos. You can see her face in the background of one of the shots in the trailer where she's sitting in a chair at the hospital. If you want to hear me talk a little more about that though, you can watch this video up here. Dylan Minnette responds to this question though, saying, I wouldn't put it past her, which is an interesting thing to say to that. You could just say, oh, that's a bit of a stretch, or hey, that's a pretty cool theory, but no, he says specifically that he wouldn't put it past her. And what I'm thinking about that is that maybe Jenna Ortega's character isn't Ghostface, but does get attacked and does live. motive, and maybe that's what he's trying to confirm there. There's been a lot of speculation that Jenna Ortega's character could be Ghostface in this film, because in her character description it says that she kinda has this resentment for her older sister Sam. That has sparked this crazy theory online about how Jenna Ortega and Amber Freeman's characters could be the killers in this upcoming Scream film. A lot of people think that because they are confirmed to be in a romantic relationship together with each other. I do like the idea of two people in a relationship together killing people, because in the past, what it seems like is like the boyfriend character was always like the killer, like for example in Scream 1 with Billy. So that would be kind of a cool new twist to this, but I just don't see that happening. It seems like Jenna Ortega is going to be bedridden for a good majority of this movie, so I don't really see her being the other Ghostface killer. Or maybe there's 3 killers. I'm 100% certain that there's more than one killer, because I think Kevin Williamson said something about how like the main Ghostface killer is going to be wearing a different mask from everybody. And we've seen in that TV spot that one of our Ghostface killers will be wearing a metallic mask. So there's definitely more than one, but could it be more than 2 even? And then maybe Jenna Ortega gets away with it scot-free because she's been in the hospital this whole time. How could she have been the second killer? Maybe that's the twist on top of the twist. The next question that's asked is there going to be a killer from one of the previous movies that comes back for this film that never got caught? Jenna Ortega is very careful about this question and doesn't specifically say one thing or the other. Now there's been a lot of indications that like either Stu or Billy could come back for this new film. One of the biggest clues obviously is the fact that Stu's house is somehow featured in this movie. We've seen it in the trailer, we've seen photos of it behind the scenes, we've seen like they recreated it as a set on a soundstage somewhere. Also another thing that like is just coming to mind randomly is that on her Instagram, Jenna Ortega posted a picture of like this little sticker of Billy like licking the blood off of his fingers from the original Scream film, kind of like giving an indication like, could he be a part of this film somehow? I would love to see Billy and Stu come back in some kind of capacity. I don't know if it would even make sense for either of them to be alive, but I think it would be cool to have their legacy live on in some new characters. You could have a new Ghostface killer who is somehow related to either Stu or Billy wanting to kill Sidney Prescott because, well, she killed Billy and Stu all back in the day. I would not be surprised if we saw a twist ending with that kind of vibe. Maybe I'm not exactly right, but something along those lines I feel like definitely could be a part of this movie. One of the questions was, is Sidney Ghostface? No, come on. And then the last theory is probably the most interesting of all of them. Are there 2 killers who aren't working together? Now this suggests a very interesting movie. We could have a film where there are 2 Ghostface killers working independently that somehow cross paths at one point in the movie, and then maybe Sidney is in the middle of it. Could you imagine a scene where you have 2 different Ghostfaces like fighting each other, and then maybe Sidney is like trying to figure out what the hell's going on here and trying to stop both of them? It's like a 3-way fight. That would be sick. Maybe you have one Ghostface killer with a metallic mask and a flamethrower, and then you have your OG Ghostface with just like the regular mask and a knife. Dude, that would be sick. But here's the only thing about it. My only problem with that is like a flamethrower versus a knife. A flamethrower is gonna win 100 out of 100 times, dude. Unless maybe one of your new Ghostfaces has epic knife throwing skills, there's no way you're gonna win with a knife against a flamethrower. Nonetheless, I would still love to see 2 Ghostface killers just fighting each other at the end of one of these movies. That would be fucking sick. It would also make it a lot more difficult to find out who is behind all of this when you have 2 different parties working independently of each other trying to kill people. You could also have 2 different motives this way. Maybe one person is going after people because they're related to Stu or Billy or whatever and they want to kill Sidney. Maybe you have a person who just like hates our new cast of characters for whatever reason and wants to kill them. There's so much you could do with 2 killers working independently like that. I would not hate that whatsoever. That would be a sick end to this movie. A point I'm trying to make though with this video is that no matter how they end this film, I hope that it's done in a creative and different way from the past films. If you want to make a new Scream film stand out, you gotta do it a little differently, and that's what I think this film could accomplish. I've been rewatching all of Radio Silence's past movies, like the films they directed or were producers on, and like it just seems like all of their movies have this insanely new crazy twist on like old films from the past. For example, Devil's Due is essentially just a found footage version of Rosemary's Baby, but because of the tone and the style of it, how different they approached that same concept, it feels like an entirely different movie from that 1960s classic. I really like Devil's Due, and I'm going to be doing a podcast on it real soon. Super pumped for that one. I'm going to be talking about that little clip with like all the interviews with our cast and crew tomorrow in another video. There was just so much in that CCXP panel, I can't fit it all into one video. What do you guys think about the cast's response to all these fan theories though? Leave me a comment about it down below. Thank you all so much for watching my new Scream 5 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Follow me on all my socials and support me on Patreon if you can. The link for all those things will be in the description below. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.